how did it feel?
I mean, you know, I would just say that, you know, even just, it all kind of started when I missed that first one, which obviously was really, really disappointing. I think I was just a little bit too open in my hips. I struck the ball really, really well, but it didn't behave the way I thought it would, and, you know, I missed it. And obviously, you know, after that, it's a very lonely feeling just because, you know, I went out there with full expectation to make the kick, and it didn't happen, so obviously that's very, very disappointing in a tight game. But, you know, when I came over the sideline, it just speaks to the quality of guys that are my teammates, you know, because every single one of them came up to me. And, like, I've seen it before where they say it's just to say it, but these guys meant it, where they're like, you know, you're all right. We're going to need you again. And we see you do it all the time. We have tremendous faith in you. And it means a lot because, you know, you can see the honesty in their eyes and everything. And, you know, Keith has been there before, so he offered a few words of encouragement and advice. And, no, it was just great. Just everything leading up to it. I kind of had a feeling after they missed that one. I was like, I just have a feeling that they're going to score, get a 2-point, I'm going to have to get one. And so just right after the miss, I kind of just reset and just got back in it to try and make that kick. And you know, full credit to the whole field goal unit. I gathered them up. You know, I think Old Frost made a big mistake calling timeout on that one because it gave me an opportunity to kind of get the guys together. And you know, I was able to say a few things to them, told them I loved them, and just no matter what. And you know, we went out and made the kick, and outstanding snap and hold as you would expect from Jackson and Colton, and then I was able to put it through. So it was just a great feeling. You know, I mean, senior day to be able to experience something like that. You know, I've had end of game kicks before, but that's the first time I've ever had one to win the game, and yeah, it was something else.
I'm sure you watched Marshall a few years ago outrun everybody, and Marshall can outrun everybody.
Yeah.
What were you trying to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I was really thinking in that moment, but you know, I started to celebrate, and then it did occur to me I'm probably going to want to keep running around because I remember Keith telling me horror stories of being at the bottom of the pile. And so he did give me that advice. He said, after you make it, don't slide, you know. So, you know, I appreciated that from him. And so, yeah, I just tried to run around. But, yeah, no, I was really winded after the end of that. No, I'm not quite in as good a shape as Marshall was then. And, yeah, I was feeling a little nauseous there for a second at the end. But, no, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And, yeah, indescribable.
Did you even watch it go through? It looked like you started running before you went through. Did you know it was good right off?
I hit the ball, and I knew I hit it well, but because of what had happened with the last one, I didn't kind of count my chickens before they hatched. And, you know, I saw it was going to stay on target, so then that's when because you know, at that point I realized it was going to go through, and so, you know, your instincts just kind of take over at that point. And so, yeah.
So any conclusions with the wind and the new north end zone with the, you know, the high stands? Is there any conclusions to that? I mean, probably not.
No, not really. And you know, I think their kicker did an extremely good job of handling it too. And I had talked to them before the game, and you know, we exchanged some comments like, "This is like," he's like, "Man, I've never had been like this before." And I said, "Yeah, you know, but you know, just you get used to it eventually," or something like that is what I said to him. But yeah, I mean. But, you know, the conditions are what they are. We've played in hard conditions before, and you always expect yourself to go out there and execute, you know, just because I have faith in myself, faith in my teammates. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's something that Shooty or Keith, whoever's the starter next year, they'll have to kind of get used to that as well. So I wish them all the best with that. They're both great guys, so no doubt they'll be able to.
How much added pressure is there when it's senior day, you're running out, your family's there, and then you end up having to make the game?
Well, it's kind of a funny thing. I would never say this to Coach Ferentz, but I always seem to be better after I miss one. And so after I missed that one, I kind of got in the frame of mind where it's difficult to describe really, but I've always been like that historically, where it just gets easier for me to block everything out because I kind of get angry. But like, you know, for me that anger is positive. You know, for specialists, like how they handle emotions differs from specialist to specialist. For me, like usually. You know, when I get really, really tired or really, really angry, or just, you know, it all kind of goes out the window, so to speak, is I guess the best colloquialism I can use there. That, you know, you kind of just, you lock in, and it becomes more instinctual and more natural. Like when I went out there, it's difficult to describe, but I knew I was going to make the kick. And, you know, especially after I remember telling myself in my head, I was like, Nebraska's going to go and score. We're going to get the 2 point. We're going to drive the ball down. Probably going to be a medium to long kick. And Frost is going to call a timeout. And then I'm going to hit it to win it. And so you just kind of, you know, go through that. And, you know, eventually I got to that point and, you know, things just kind of fell into place at that point.
I assume that you've used a lot of visualization in your years as a kicker. Did this moment follow your visualization at all?
That's a good question. I would say that, yeah, I mean, visualization, especially when you combine it with situations in practice, is very, very useful. I know with Coach Ferentz, like, we always have a, you know, a 2-minute, need a field goal to win the game or to tie the game, send it overtime, you know, some sort of big kick like that. And, you know, anytime you get an opportunity like that, I always try and visualize, okay, you know, we're against Michigan or Nebraska and the score's tied up. We need this to win the game. And I think, you know, especially if you have a little bit of game experience, it's easier to kind of visualize that in your head. You know, that's why I think you'll notice a lot of younger kickers in the Big Ten, usually they start out having a tough year and then kind of pick up some steam. Like Pickering, their kicker is kind of the same way. He's a solid kid. And like he kind of struggled at the beginning of the year, but once he started to get used to it, I think it got easier for him to visualize kind of what was going on. And so yeah, to answer your question, I would say yeah, especially if you combine it with situations that you experience in practice.
Take one or two more. Did you want the right hash? Did you tell him I want right hash? And was the field wet? Is there a spot you pick out?
Yeah,
Maybe
funnily,
go through the anatomy of that.
yeah, funnily enough, they didn't ask me my opinion for what I wanted, but yeah, I mean, you know, the conditions were what they were. They were tough, and I'll be honest with you. And, but you know, Colton said some nice words. He said, you know, don't worry about it. Like, you know, we got the first one sorted out. You know, and he's like, don't worry about the salmon hole. Just you worry about you. We got it under control. And you know, I've always appreciated his help because you know we've hit a lot of big kicks. You know, he and I think you know, just the ones against, you know, Penn State and the first half one against Northwestern. And this one come to mind off the top of my head. And every single time he always seems like he's got something to say that always kind of just puts me over the edge and gets me ready to go. And but yeah, I mean, I just knew it was most likely going to be on the hash and probably a medium to long kick. So
How are you going to celebrate?
I haven't really figured that one out yet, so you have to give me some time. But the seniors are having a little get together, so I'm gonna go to that and I'll have a lot of fun. So yeah.
Good. Thanks, Miguel.